All right, we are now moving to more breaking news coming in regarding developments that took place a little while earlier. Just a few minutes ago, we brought you an update on how the BJP is trying to push forth when it comes to the logjam. We learned that Union Minister Rajnath Singh had spoken to the leader of the opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge. That's a detail we brought you earlier. Now we're learning more about the content of that conversation. We're learning that Mallikarjun Kharge is learned to have said that Manipur and the violence that's taken place there over almost the last 3 months cannot be tolerated, and that the Prime Minister needs to make a statement in the Parliament. Remember, this is a reiteration of the stance we've seen each of these opposition parties take over the last few days since the Parliament session has been resumed. They've said that they want the Prime Minister to make an address in front of both houses about the violence that's taken place in Manipur. Remember, Manipur has been the site of ethnic violence for almost the last 3 months, in scenes that have left more than 100 people dead and thousands of people displaced. Now, as we've seen over the last 3 days, the logjam has continued. On one side, you have the centre that insists that it wants to get legislative duties done with. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And on the other side, of course, the opposition. We're showing you on your screen right now visuals of a protest taking place outside the Rajya Sabha on the left side of your screens. On the right side of your screens, we're bringing you visuals from inside the Parliament. These are protests that took place earlier in the day today, very much along expected lines. It was pre-announced that this is what the opposition would be doing. Now, as we speak, 2 p.m., 2:01 in fact, both houses of the Parliament have resumed. On the left side, you can see placards being held, Manipur being mentioned once again in the Parliament. Now, we're going to bring you more context as to what it is when it comes to the work that the Parliament is hoping to get done.
रखा माना जाएगा जिनके लिए मामले का पाठ निर्धारित समय के भीतर सभा पटल पर प्राप्त हो गया है, शेष को व्यपगत माना जाएगा। बैठिए बैठिए बैठिए, कुछ चर्चाएं होनी है, कुछ बिलों पर चर्चा होनी है, कुछ विधायी कार्य होना है, जिसके लिए आप सबकी बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका होती है। प्लीज आप बैठिए, सदन को व्यवस्थित होने दीजिए। सभा की कार्यवाही 2:30 तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Both houses adjourned, as you saw, within just 2 minutes of starting up again. So that ruckus, that gridlock very much continuing, despite that we brought you news a little while earlier that the Defence Minister had reached out to Mallikarjun Kharge, President of the Congress. Remember, why that development is so important is because till now this was the opposition's main claim, that behind the scenes no one from the government had reached out to them. Let's go over to my colleague Pallavi for an update on each of these developments. Pallavi, barely 2 minutes into 2 o'clock, both houses getting adjourned. If you could quickly bring our audiences a recap of what's happened in these last few seconds, then we'll ask you more questions.
So when the House reconvened and the government wants to take up the legislative business, there was a defiance which came in from the opposition parties in both the houses. And what are they insisting on? They're insisting that there first of all has to be a repeat of the Prime Minister's statement which he made outside the House, inside both the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. And it's only after that the discussion needs to take place. Now this is despite the fact that the government has decided to reach out to the opposition parties. We know, for example, a Defence Minister and a senior Minister, Rajnath Singh, did reach out to opposition leaders like the Congress President at all, or that there should be decorum in the House and we are ready to debate and discuss Manipur. And the point which came across from the Congress President and also from the other opposition party leaders was first a statement by the Prime Minister, discussion only after that, and nothing beyond Manipur, which means Rule 267 must be applied, which requires a motion or a notice, and every other business must be suspended.
Okay, Pallavi, can you tell us more about remarks that we saw come forward from the Speaker and the Vice President in both houses? The Speaker's comments in particular are being highlighted. He said you can have a discussion, but you cannot decide who will reply. Can you tell us more?
So we saw what happened in Rajya Sabha today when you had the Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh standing up and the protest from AAP is also coming in, not just on the Manipur issue but also on that ordinance issue. He was actually called out for unruly behavior and the leader of the House, Piyush Goyal, recommended that he should be suspended for the rest of the session. This was something which was accepted by the chairperson of the House, and despite opposition leaders reaching out to the chairperson saying that this was completely against parliamentary democracy, it didn't cut much ice. So this is a hint to the opposition parties from the government side, from the presiding officers, that you will have to maintain a decorum, otherwise we will not hesitate to actually suspend you for the remaining session. We saw this happening in the last parliament session as well. There is a possible replay of this, and in fact the opposition parties have responded by accusing the government of deliberately switching off the cameras and to ensure that Sansad TV does not focus on whatever the opposition parties are doing, and therefore this is once again an attempt being made by the government to silence the voice of the opposition. Now with this level of mistrust and lack of communication, it is not surprising that we are seeing repeated adjournments taking place from both the sides.
Pallavi, what are your sources, at least within the BJP, telling you how is the union government responding to the opposition slowly attempting to raise the pressure on the BJP, on the Prime Minister, asking him to make a statement? Can we at all expect some kind of acknowledgement?
So as far as the government is concerned, the government is also making the point that, we are ready for a discussion on Manipur, but you cannot arm twist us. Even Rule 176 ensures that there is a quick discussion, an immediate discussion which takes place. But for any discussion on an important matter, there has to be a semblance of order in the House, which is what the opposition parties are not asking for. But if you look at a strategy coming in from the government, in Lok Sabha we saw 3 bills which were introduced, which means the government also wants to send out a message to the constituencies and to the country that look, we are ready for a discussion on Manipur, but the opposition is not, because that's why they are repeatedly disrupting. Second, 31 important bills need to be taken up and passed, and we are going to go ahead with our work, and only in the hope that the opposition also understands and reciprocates. And also we saw that how the government has tried to reach out to the opposition, but that really has not cut much ice.
Okay, Pallavi, if I could ask you to stay with us. A little while earlier, one of the key headlines coming out of the last few minutes is that the Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha member Sanjay Singh has been suspended for the rest of the monsoon session. Let's take a quick look at what Saurabh Bharadwaj had to say on that, the Aam Aadmi Party leader. Take a look.
देखिए, अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के चले तो संजय सिंह को तो अब तक जेल में ही डाल देते। संजय सिंह संसद के अंदर विपक्ष की बुलंद आवाज है, वो नारा लगाते हैं और तमाम विपक्ष के नेता उनका साथ देते हैं। जाहिर सी बात है, संजय सिंह उनकी आंखों में खटकते हैं। संजय सिंह के खिलाफ हर वो षड्यंत्र केंद्र सरकार करेगी कि संजय सिंह की आवाज जो है बंद कराई जा सके।
We need to understand that Parliament is the supreme body of India, and we all elected members comes with hopes and aspirations. Manipur is a very different issue now. Women have been attacked and women has been stripped of their clothes and gang rape has taken place, and the state government, double engine Sarkar of Modi and Biren Singh, one engine has completely failed. That one engine, that needs to be discussed, and Parliament, we want Honorable Prime Minister Modi to come to Parliament and make a statement. What is wrong in that thing? Parliament is for the Prime Minister to come and make statement and have a discussion on Manipur. Why Prime Minister is afraid to make a statement? He is making statement outside the Parliament, in the gate of Parliament.